Newsflash takes off with the enhanced e-passport. It's time for the weekly council meeting, usually chaired by the President. As part of the proceedings, the Minister of Interior and the immigration officials present tell the House about the new 64-page passport and its cost implications.
Your Excellency, the ease with which our citizens at home and in the diaspora can obtain their Nigerian passports across several issuing centers in Nigeria and in 27 missions abroad, as well as through the ongoing e-passport intervention exercise, is a clear demonstration of your government's deliberate commitment towards enhancing seamless service delivery to Nigerians wherever they find themselves.
Yes, this is novel, but beyond passport, uppermost in the President's mind is how to make Nigerians abroad get their passports with ease.
What affects almost every traveler is how efficient and committed are the immigration officers working at our airports. Visitors that come into the country have different impressions about the immigration officers, so they must improve.
The President was the first to get the e-passport, followed by the Vice President, as they get captured by the immigration officials. Apart from the 64 pages, some of the advantages of the e-passport include its taking care of frequent travelers and its conformity with international best practices. The President also has a word for Nigerians and how they portray the country outside our shores.
I want a situation where whenever you travel to another country and you raise your green passport, people should appreciate you. Not when you raise your green passport, people should begin to think that that green passport signifies some suspicious character.
The Nigerian Immigration Service says appropriate strategies are being put in place to enlighten members of the public on the new e-passport reforms. Away from the new introduction to the fight against the spread of the Ebola virus. Here in the country, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has lifted the suspension placed on Air Airlines last week following the outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus in the countries where the airline operates. According to the agency, the lifting of the suspension followed the undertaking by the airline to abide by the rules and regulations with a view to curtailing the spread of the deadly virus by not flying to countries where the disease is prevalent. The NCAA says it's collaborating with other airlines with a view to curtailing the spread of the virus. The management of Air Airline, which was sanctioned for flying in Nigeria's first ever Ebola victim, had pleaded with the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority to lift the ban on its flight operations. The NCA had suspended the flight operations of the Ndume-based airline on Monday for flying into Lagos the Liberian Patrick Sawyer, who died on Friday from the Ebola virus disease. This, the NCA said, constituted negligence on the airline's part, and it's contrary to the provision of Article of the Chicago Convention of 1994 and International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO regulations, which states that airlines agree to take effective measures to prevent the spread of communicable diseases such as cholera, smallpox, yellow fever, and other plagues. Still on the Ebola virus, workers from different agencies operating at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Ikeja, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, have been enlightened by port officials on the dangers posed by the virus and how to prevent the spread of the virus in the workplace, home, and the community. The awareness campaign is part of measures already put in place by port health officials at the country's international airports to prevent the presence and spread of the virus in the country. Away from our shores, but staying with the Ebola virus, the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO says it is monitoring the situation but hasn't urged any travel restrictions to or from the affected countries. In a release, ICAO said it is following the recommendations of the World Health Organization. ICAO said the WHO recently reiterated its advice that based on current information, no travel or trade restrictions should be applied to Guinea, Liberia, or Sierra Leone. But ICAO also said that along with the WHO and the International Air Transport Association, IATA, the airline industry's premier global trade group, it had considered changes to passenger screening rules and procedures. The WHO website lists more than 1,000 confirmed or probable cases of the Ebola virus in 3 countries, with more than 600 confirmed or probable deaths. Away from the dreaded Ebola virus to the downing of the MH17. This time, the International Air Transport Association IATA, the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO, Airports Council International, the ACI, and the Civil Air Navigation Services Organization, CANSO, has in a declaration committed all parties to review processes for the overflight of conflict zones. The high-level meeting was called by ICAO in the aftermath of the tragic accident. The declaration includes a commitment by ICAO, with the support of its industry partners, to immediately establish a senior-level task force composed of state and industry experts to address the civil aviation and national security issues arising from the MH17. The industry has also called on ICAO to address fail-safe channels for essential threat information to be made available to civil aviation authorities and industry, and the need to incorporate into international law, through appropriate UN frameworks, measures to govern the design, manufacture, and deployment of modern anti-aircraft weaponry.
There was a time when airports in major international cities weren't more attractive than your average industrial warehouse. Fortunately, that particularly unattractive era in aviation history is becoming a blurred memory as cities are tapping renowned architects and making investments in the billions to transform their busiest terminals into fully functional works of art. First is the Marrakesh Menara Airport Terminal 1, Marrakesh, Morocco. Here, traditional Islamic design meets sleek, ultra-modern architecture. You find Terminal 1, a beautiful study in the confluence of cultures and artistic sensibilities. Architects at the Casablanca-based firm of E2A Architecture probably stole a page from the playbook of many runway designers when they softened the edge of the building's starkly geometric exterior structure by layering it with delicate-looking arabesque screens. The sun shining through the scrolling patterns creates a beautiful play of light and shadow throughout the terminal. Next is the Incheon International Airport in South Korea. Conceived by renowned airport architect Curtis Fentress, Incheon publicly spotlights the best of traditional Korean design, while still emerging as a futuristic model of efficiency. The building concept is taken from the ancient landmarks and traditional religious buildings of Korea. Thus, the roofline of the resulting terminal mimics that of a Korean temple, and throughout the building you find precious artifacts that date back thousands of years. From traditional architecture to Barajas Airport, Terminal 4, Madrid, Spain. This sweeping space, which was designed by Antonio Lamela and Richard Rogers and opened in 2006, was built to provide the 50 million passengers who pass through it each year with an airy, stress-free zone through which to begin or end their journeys. This worry-free effect is achieved with glass-paneled walls that allow in plenty of light. A gently undulating roofline constructed from long beams of pale bamboo and candy-colored pylons that graduate through the rainbow, red to purple, as you walk along the half-mile terminal. And finally, King Abdulaziz International Airport Jeddah Hajj Terminal in Saudi Arabia. Unlike the rest of the terminals featured here, the one at Jeddah is only in operation during Hajj, the annual Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca that takes place in the last month of their year. This temporary open-air terminal is covered with 2010 white fiberglass tents that help cool the desert air by as much as 50 degrees without air conditioning.
The secret is not in the ownership, be it private or government. If it is squandered and mismanaged, it will be no more. So it is a matter of diligent management. When it comes to Ethiopian Airlines, as I told you earlier, the government has given Ethiopian Airlines management 100% autonomy to run the company with the industry discipline in economic sense. The only thing they request is at the end of the year to show them the number, our performance. So any company within Africa, be it private or government, if hard work of the workforce and diligent management, prudence, cost, and customer service, if you take care of this, your business is going to succeed.
This is where we call it a day on the program. Please feel free to reach us on our feedback platform. And from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, it's bye for now. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.